This video contains information that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are a viewer and are triggered or shocked by images and need a warning prior to every clip or story being discussed, then please unsubscribe from my channel immediately. My channel covers the harsh reality of even the worst crimes imaginable and is for adults only. For those of you who fit into this category, take this message as your warning and don't watch any further. Hello, this is Gray Hughes. I am going to re-release an interview with Larry and Kay, and we'll do it as a premiere. So this isn't me live, you're just watching a premiere on YouTube. Unfortunately, this interview with Larry and Kay Woodcock back on December 26, 2019 on a live show didn't make the YouTube algorithms, okay? And that was early on, before the case became popular with all the other YouTubers that are churning videos out left and right on the case. But this is an interview, and I think you guys will find it interesting. And my interview style is just to kind of have a regular conversation, and I know the case so that I can just kind of go with the flow and talk about what they're talking about. Sometimes I don't let the person talk as much as I should. That's for damn sure. I'm trying to learn that skill. A little bit like Morph. He asks a question and then he'll let the person talk until they're done talking and doesn't really interject. Okay, that's the best way to do interviews. Okay, so let me show you. This is the video on YouTube, and as you can see, it was streamed live on December 26, 2019. And I changed the name recently to Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell interview with Kay and Larry Woodcock. Probably the name doesn't make sense. I just changed it just a few minutes ago. I'll fix that. They didn't interview Kay and Larry. I did. Okay, so I will be playing this now, but also keep in mind this evening we'll be doing a live call-in show where people can call in and tell us their true crime stories. Okay, their brushes with death or anything like that related to true crime. Okay, so with that said, here is the interview, and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
So we got Larry and Kay Woodcock on, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've been covering this case for. Oh, whoa. Yeah, is there a way you can turn down? How does that work? I guess you guys have you have speakers on, right? Maybe I'll try to stay down quiet. Because I think we get like a feedback loop of some sort, but let's see. Yeah,
Does that help?
See, right there, I just heard myself. I wonder how we can stop that.
Okay, well then I'll just have to turn it off. Okay, it'd be easier for us to hear, but okay. We'll just
or maybe
do it.
Maybe you could turn it way down or something.
Well, anyway, we're good. We're just using the phone itself.
Okay. All right. So I've been covering the case for a few days, and I talked to Larry, and he was really, insightful, added a lot of information to the case. What we're doing is we're trying to put all the pieces together. I know that your main focus is trying to get the two kids back, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
Yeah. So maybe you could start telling us a little bit about who Charles was, and then how he came about. I know you talked about it before, but maybe from both of you, how Charles and how he adopted Joshua, and then how the relationship with Lori developed, that kind of thing.
Charles is my brother. This is Kay Woodcock, and Charles is my brother. What, babe? Anyway, he and Lori were married in 2006. I want to say March of 2006, and at that, Lori has 2 children. Tylee, which is her biological daughter, and the dad, Tylee's dad is Joseph Ryan Jr., who died in March of 18, I believe. And then Colby, her eldest child, he is 23, and he is, I believe Joe adopted him. I'm really not quite sure on how that works, but he does have the same last name as Joe and Tylee. So anyway, so that's the 2 kids they had living with him. Charles has 2 older sons that, they did live with them, in the household. Then in 2012, we had our grandson, JJ, and he was born in May of 2012. And in February 2013, there's a long story right there, and I'm not going to get into all that.
Okay.
But they really wanted to adopt him, so as things happened, they did. And so they took possession of JJ in February of 13, and then, went through the adoption process, and I believe it was final in July of 2014. But so they've had JJ since he was 9 months old. Larry and I had him at first. We took him home from there. We brought him home from the hospital, and he was with us during all that time. So, of course, we have other grandchildren, and we love all of our grandchildren, but, he lived with us, and, we brought him home from the hospital. So, there's just a special, I guess, bond there that we have with him. And then let's see, they got married, and then they got JJ, and then and they lived in Phoenix. And what, baby? Okay, I'm losing my thoughts process. So bear with me on this. I've never done this before. Number one, and number 2, we're tired. I'm tired, and I'm really not a good speaker. So just bear with me on that.
No, it's fine. Let's see. So when did Charles meet Lori?
I cannot answer that. I cannot answer that. With any kind of, correction. Yeah, with
like accuracy. Yeah, like right now.
Accuracy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Accuracy.
Yeah, let's see. And what have you heard about what happened with Alex and Charles on that day that he was killed?
Well, I cannot really talk about that. It's under investigation, so we have to be, we choose not to talk about it in case we don't want to let anything out that shouldn't be out there. We don't want to damage any the case for the police are working.
Right. So if I mentioned something that we heard, would you be able to confirm or deny it?
Well, tell me what you heard.
Well, we heard that let's see, that Lori, they were all at the house. Lori, Tylee, Joshua, Alex, and Charles. And Lori told Tylee to take Joshua outside. And while Tylee was outside, she heard 2 gunshots. And then Lori drove Joshua to school and then came back and said, then that's when all the calls came in. Is that mildly accurate?
we have heard that. The accuracy of it, I'm not sure. I can't. I can't look, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let Larry talk because I'm tired and
I know.
I'm just.
Hey, go ahead. And yes, your story is fairly close.
Okay. So that
and to understand, Rich, there are things. I'm sorry, Gray. I apologize.
That's all right.
We're both
I know you guys went out to dinner. And,
yeah,
holiday
we
cheers.
just went out to dinner. Yeah, and just tried to get away from this for a couple hours. Gray, yes, that is fairly close to what happened. The Charles got there that morning, and this is when all this happened.
So why was he? He was going over there to pick up Joshua.
JJ.
Yeah, JJ. So why didn't he have, so he didn't have custody of JJ, or how did that work?
No, actually, he did have custody.
Oh. No, so how did that work?
Was okay, look, Charles's work was, it took him away from home on the average 3 days a week. He was very fortunate. He had a really, really good business, and he was able to make an above average living simply working 3 days a week. And Laurie had kept him, and when he went to pick him up that morning is when all this took place.
Okay.
To get JJ to bring him to either back to his home or wherever, and that's when all this took place.
So why do you think Alex was
to kill him?
It's kind of weird that Alex was even there that early, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was extremely strange. And Alex had his own home, and Alex, from what we were able to, from what the authorities said, is that he had spent the night there.
Oh, that's strange. Did Laurie know that Charles was coming home? Arriving the next day. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I've got some questions here that are actually in that people submitted. If you have a few minutes.
Go ahead.
It said, "What do you think? What did you think of Laurie when you first met her, and then what do you think of her now? I guess."
When we first met Laurie, she was a very devoted mother, and I don't think there was any doubt that she was very much in love with Charles. I have never seen a man so in love with a wife, a woman, a partner than Charles was. He was totally dedicated to her. He changed his religion from Catholic to LDS, and absolutely fell in love with the church. And it was obviously there was a bond there. About 3 years ago, I personally saw a change in Laurie from being this wanting to be with Charles, wanting to be with JJ, to not showing up with Charles, and I could tell. And look, I'll tell anybody, I've been married 3 times, and I understand when an individual, man or woman, falls out of love.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell there was something going on. Charles was simply so in love with Laurie that he wouldn't. I don't think if he saw it, he believed it, and I think that was simply his downfall to his death.
Wow. Let's see. I was just thinking about. I'm trying to think about how Charles and were they divorced at the time, or were they just separated, or what was going on right at the time?
At the time of what?
When Charles was killed.
No, they were still married.
Oh, so they were like he had no. Well, I did hear some things that he thought and actually messaged people that, you know, that Lori, that he thought maybe Lori and was going to kill him or something like that.
Well, that is a fact, yes. And Charles told the family, our family, that if he was ever killed, it would be either by Alex first, or second, it would be Alex and Lori.
Wow. And it sort of turned.
And I told Charles, sitting right here at our bar, right here in the house, in the kitchen, leave her, get rid of her. You know, there's other women that'll fall madly in love with you for who you are, and you don't need this to drop her, get her divorced. You know, he had custody of JJ. Keep JJ away from her. Keep him, you know, create you another life. But he was simply so in love with Lori that he was blind.
Even though he sort of wasn't blind, right? Like, because he thought that was going to happen to him, but the love.
No, he never knew that.
He had moments of clarity
Mm-hmm.
where he would, you know, look, I'm his sister, and we were close, and I would tell him point blank, look, if she's not messing around, she's going to, but I promise you, brother, she is messing around with the things he told me.
Exactly.
Okay? And I said, so you can just end it now, be done with it, Charles, and move on. You know, get JJ and come on, move to Houston. It's 2 hours away from us, and JJ would have the schools he needed in Houston, and Charles could still fly and go do his business a few days a week, and I could go over there and stay with JJ a few days a week for him to go work, and it would have been a great situation. And but that didn't work. That never came to pass. He did move to Houston. We'd moved him to Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and we got him going there. And then Lori came back up after 2 months of desertion.
Till her money run out.
Yeah, she drained the checking account before she left the day before. Then she came back at the end of March, and Charles told her that was in Phoenix at their house on Tomahawk, and Charles told her that she could come see JJ on Sunday, and I think that was about March 31st, or right, I think that Sunday, whatever it was, and told her she could come see JJ that Sunday, because JJ was here in Lake Charles with Larry, and because I was helping Charles move from Phoenix to Houston, and Lori, so he told her that she could come Sunday and see JJ, and he would fly her to Houston so she could come see JJ. And she told him that she had a commitment. She had a commitment with a friend, and she needed to fulfill it, but that she would be back in about 2 weeks, and then she'd come see JJ. So she had been without him 2 months already. Then whatever commitment she had with her friend, whatever it was, wherever it was, she felt was, I guess, more important than seeing her 7-year-old child. So right there, I knew, this is not good.
There's an issue.
There was a huge issue.
Wow.
And even bigger than I thought it was before she did that right there. That action spoke a million words.
So Charles, though, but you were saying that Charles told you guys, hey, if something ever happens to me, right? So that means even before he was, before he died and he was still married and still loved Lori, he sort of knew that something was going to happen to him. I mean, he felt like something might happen to him.
He felt, because he said Alex is crazy.
He told us that numerous times, that her brother was crazy.
Like in what? How did he describe Alex? See, I think Alex is literally sort of like this hitman type guy. Like he's like
exactly.
I mean,
that's what Charles.
Yeah.
Charles was afraid of him. It's.
He just knew that he didn't ever want to be around him. That's all.
And look, Charles was a college baseball player, a pro player, and extremely athletic. But he was probably the most gentle person you ever met in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And Kay said he wasn't afraid of him. Let's not call it afraid. Let's call it that he was cautious of him, extremely cautious of him.
Yeah.
I think there has to be somewhere in Alex's past, there has to be a history of violence or problems in that situation.
Well, have you heard of there's actually a family member, I think her name was Stacy, back a long time ago, 1998, and he was the one that, I have her on my organizational chart because she was somebody that died in a house, and then he was the only person there with her, and then he started using her credit cards. That's what this other person told him.
Yeah, correct. I've heard that, yeah.
Okay, so what's weird here is you've got a situation where Alex, he killed Charles, there's no doubt about that.
Right.
And then you have, it looks like he might be the person on surveillance that is the one who shot at Brandon. So he's trying to take him out, right? I mean,
see, I have never seen that video, so but I think we're reasonably comfortable in saying that everybody thought that.
Yeah, I just heard that. I was told that Brandon thought, when he saw the video, thought it looked like him. So
yeah,
and it's
and Brandon would know.
Right.
In fact, Brandon would know is probably as well as anybody.
Yeah, and so then you've got Joseph Ryan. He died in April of 2018, right? Something around that time.
Yeah, March, April.
March, yeah.
Yeah. So do they think that that is also related to Alex somehow? Was he around, or where did he live, Joseph?
It's certainly mysterious.
Yeah.
So mysterious at the time. It wasn't so mysterious at the time when Joe died, because Joe
corrupted everybody.
And this is what I've been told, is that Joe was pretty much a loner, and Joe moved to Phoenix just to be near Tylee, and he moved there from Austin, Texas, and he moved there to be near Tylee, and Lori made it hell for him to see Tylee. And it really was a tragedy there with that. There's so much in that right there. There is so much in all of it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, to be honest with you. I think you'd have to make like a 3-part epic movie to even capture it all.
You bet. And that's what somebody had said, Dateline want to talk to us, or 2020 wants to talk to us. Well, you know what? They're going to have to put out more than a 2-hour show for this, because it is so many dynamics to it. But, that is only Joe's death is only oh God, we're just guessing at it. It's suspicious. That's all.
Well, what did they just say? What did they say happened to Joseph? Like, oh, they just determined a heart attack or something, or what?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
He wasn't found immediately.
2-3 weeks.
It was, and this came from Lori's mouth. She told me this herself, that he was dead for 3 weeks before he was found. When neighbors started, the smell.
Oh, decomposition.
And
wow, that's sad.
And that's when they called, the authorities, and that's when he was discovered. And no family claimed him. So they just cremated him, and they put an ad in the paper asking if anybody knew of him. And I don't know if that's how Lori found him or not, but
wow.
we feel that she knew it was happening all along. But anyway, that is
vicious.
Well, the thing is,
just,
I know it's speculation, but what you're saying is, but here's the thing is, it'd be speculation on just one of them. By the way, my dogs, I can hear them. They're starting to growl. I think my wife's coming to the door. They're going to start barking. I guarantee it.
Okay.
But anyways, it's speculation if it was just one thing, right? But you've got so many of them, and they're all relatively close to each other. I mean, the biggest, you could throw out the 1998 one just because that's so long ago. But if you go with Joseph Ryan, and then Charles and Tammy, all in this same time frame, and miraculously, they're all spouses of the two people who got married. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
And then the attempt on Brandon too. What's that?
No, go ahead, Gray.
Oh, I was just saying, and then there was an attempt on Brandon, right? So Brandon is also the spouse of another person that wanted to be in the cult.
Right.
Or whatever you call it.
So, I mean, we truly believe that Lori for sure is in that mix, okay? It seems like everybody followed behind Lori like little marching soldiers. That is totally what we believe.
Even her own family.
Her own family just followed behind her, never asked questions. If Lori wanted them to do something, they did it. No questions asked. They followed behind like little ducks behind the mama,
Yeah.
And over 10 years, Charles was their golden goose.
Yeah, Charles supported her entire family.
Probably Alex. Everybody was like leeching off of Charles, right?
Well, I as far as Alex, I really don't know. When Charles and Lori separated the end of January, when Lori deserted Charles and JJ, I took over helping Charles with his finances. He wasn't a money guy, so, I was helping him with that and with JJ, and I never saw that he was giving money to Alex, or he wasn't paying for Alex's cell phone or iPads or iPhone, whatever, all that. Charles had 22 lines he was paying for every month. That's phones, iPads, just everything, and for the family, for her parents, for her, I don't know who else, her son, her daughter, just everybody. I mean, it was crazy. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, Charles, are you out of your mind?
Wow.
Well, they're family. I said, okay, but really? How long have you been paying the bill? You help people. You don't. They were just sucking off of them. Period.
Yeah. That's insane.
And the golden goose is dead now. Guess what? They're all having a hard time.
What do you think? What makes Chad this leader type guy? I mean, every time I've heard him speak, even on the podcast or in the videos, he just seems like sort of like he's weak or something. I don't really understand that.
I've gotten that too. He seems very.
Let me tell you what Chad is. Chad's next.
Yeah, somebody said that, and I sort of said, come on. But you know what? I did.
No,
I've been thinking.
I totally agree with him on that.
Yeah.
I do believe he's next, and she's got to dig herself in a pocket because she needs someone else to support her. She never worked for Charles. I mean, once she and Charles got together, she never worked.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it could be where she saw what he was doing, and then she's propping him up mentally, where he, she's saying all this stuff to him, and he thinks he's so great and everything. But what's strange is why did Melanie also join whatever that is with some other guy that she just married too?
Because Lori was in it, and they all follow Lori.
God.
No questions asked. Even though Melanie knew different, I can't speak about he and Brandon and Melanie's relationship. I really don't know. I've never met Melanie. I've never met Brandon in person, but he and I have become. He's part of our family now.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool guy.
He's part of our family.
Hey, so should I just change?
Brandon and I,
Should I just change Chad's name to Next then? On the screen?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Okay.
it is. I mean, I'm telling you right now.
You understand?
You just don't know it.
Next is the next X, right? X is right in the middle of next.
Yeah. But it could be the one. What I was arguing though is maybe she would try to keep him alive because he's kind of the one that's bringing in cult members. They'll probably take money from all of them, but I guess at some point she could be the supreme leader of the cult if she got rid of Chad, right? Yeah. Yeah, the queen. That's
Absolutely.
what I called her.
Well,
Yeah.
her Charles sent me an email, and I don't know if I should talk about that. I don't think I'll need to talk about that. Okay. Never mind.
All right.
But she was reincarnated a few times. But anyway, other than that, that's all I can say.
Yeah, we did hear that he called, she thought that they had demons in them, different level, level 3 dark demon, or whatever the hell she was saying.
Yes, exactly, and that's exactly right. And JJ wasn't a dark spirit in what I saw. But
well, of course they're not. That's just what she wants to say to make it,
right. I know. Yeah. I agree. Yes.
Yeah. Let me see. So somebody else. Let me ask some of these other questions. Do you know where they were last seen, JJ and Tylee? When was the last verified sighting of them?
The last verified sighting of JJ was at school September 23rd.
Okay.
Oh, you mean with us?
With us. Last time we saw him.
He said the last verified sighting.
Yeah.
No, for us or for anybody?
Anybody. When verified that they were still walking around doing things.
September 23rd is JJ.
Last day.
I can't answer that question for in Tylee's behalf. I'm not sure of that.
Yeah, I read something somewhere where she did something on social media in October or something like that. One of those, I don't remember which site it was, but.
Yes, I know. Yes, we've heard that.
But who knows what that is? See, a lot of these cases that we cover, people, let's say somebody is kidnapped or something, they'll actually text, not the actual victim, but the kidnapper themselves will send text out to make it look like they're doing things.
Yeah.
But I don't know in this case. I don't know. I'm hoping they're on a commune somewhere, is what I'm hoping.
Well, I pray that's where they are, because
Please let them be there.
yes, we hope they are with a family that's not evil, but that is taking care of them. But I don't see why JJ would be easily, to keep him from, being on the phone and stuff. He doesn't, he's 7.
Yeah.
But Tylee, 17 years old, has the, the wherewithal to break out and get away from that. So
JJ can't go this long without his medication.
Yeah, that's another thing. His medication he takes because he's ADHD. He's autistic and ADHD.
Okay.
And he takes the medication to sleep. If he doesn't have that medication, he won't sleep, but a few hours a night, he's a mess, and everybody around him is miserable, and
right.
I mean, once they got him on that medicine is when he could really slow down enough to get some good sleep, and then it would keep him calm during the day as well.
Right. So he wasn't it's not a life-saving medicine. So it's not. I mean, it's concerning. Like
it's not like diabetes, insulin.
Right. Okay.
No, but it is a drug that he needed. Absolutely. Right. Now, nothing to say that he can't be getting it from Mexico, or you can order it from China. But anyway.
Yeah. Let me see what else we got here. What's your opinion on what do you think has happened to him? Like, I mean, have you guys theorized?
You know, that this has been such a roller coaster for us, and we have stayed positive. We've had to for so long, and not seeing JJ. And at this point, honestly, we just don't know. And I mean that. It's just what you said a minute ago. Our hope, our prayer, our everything is that JJ is safe on a hideout with a family, and that he's safe. But when you at this point in day and this time, to not see the media coverage, I don't care where you live at. Look, we're getting questions from all over the world. And if they know it, if they know there's an issue, then we're at the point that we have to be realistic ourselves and say, you know, we may never see him again. Obviously, our love and our desire is for JJ to be safe, and somebody steps up and say, look, I've had enough of this. JJ is right. He's at this place.
Yeah. We have been positive for a long time, and it was easier, but as time has passed and the more we've learned about Lori and everybody around her dying, not everybody, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It just is. It seems people are expendable, and just the mere fact that Lori didn't want JJ anymore, as she told Charles in January, and I experienced it with my eyes, with her being gone for 2 months and then leaving again for another 2 weeks without seeing him when she could have. That speaks volumes right there. She didn't want him anymore. Like I said, she turned off as a mother to him. I don't know what she was like with Tylee. And whenever Charles died, whenever they murdered Charles, I had 3 conversations with her, I believe it was, within 2 weeks of his death. And it was all, she was miserable, and I was angry as could be, but I had to keep it, I had to keep my calm. I had to keep cool, because I had to be able to, hey, Lori, let's work, let's work together. We'd love to see JJ. Please, let him come to his dad's memorial service, celebration of life we had for him here in Lake Charles. And she ended up not letting him come to the celebration of life for his dad. And I emailed, text, voicemailed, any other way you could communicate with someone. We did it daily, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, 7 times a week sometimes, and just kept on and on and on. Not one response from her. Not one. Wow. She was she's being vindictive, or I don't know. Maybe she's mad at me because I'm Charles' sister. I don't know. But it's like he's a pawn, and she was using him as that. to hurt us. I don't know for why. I don't, I can't say why.
She sounds like a monster, really. I mean, just.
Yes,
I mean,
she is. She, as much as I used to love her and adore her, that's how much she's a monster now. It's totally gone 180 degrees.
Well, it just shows you how they can trick people, because she didn't. When you guys say she changed, what it really means is she became comfortable showing who she really was. But before, she'd hide it from everybody.
I don't think I don't think it's that deep. I think personally that she is so indoctrinated, and she talks about a black spirit.
Uh-huh.
I think she sees her own spirit, and so if it's sort of like a Democrat telling a Republican everything that the Republicans are doing wrong, and they're basing it off their own actions.
Yeah.
And so it's it's
Like,
firsthand.
Right.
And I think, honestly, I think that Laurie has had a deep, dark spirit for a long time. She did not let it out. And then all of a sudden, it's manifested.
Yeah.
And all of this queens and everything that she thought she used to be, it's out. And I think she has to be a totally miserable person, or she's totally nuts.
Yeah.
She knows right from wrong. Okay, she is not insane, although she's having some insane acts, but she knows right from wrong, and that's all there is to that. That's the ultimate question: if somebody completely lost it or not. She knows right from wrong.
Yeah. I was looking at the just to change it to the town that they were living in, Rexburg. It seems it seems like a pretty highly populated. It's got a ton of LDS churches there, and then it has
98% of the people living there are LDS.
Yeah, we googled it,
and that's not an issue with us. There's good religions, and there's other religions.
But LDS, from what we've been told, they don't condone that offshoot that Daybell and Lauren are.
Yeah,
pushing.
I agree with you. I'm just pointing out the demographics, because you've got
absolutely. But the demographics are exactly what we were just talking about.
Right.
And it's I think that everybody and this is one of my big fears in all of this. I don't think anybody up there that is a good church-going people want this associated with their church, their belief.
They don't.
And that they want to find these kids. And that's one of the issues that I have, that we try to maintain our positive attitude, but yet the last time they were seen was right there, but nobody else has stepped forward. And we talked to people that live there. In fact, one couple we talked to, the husband was actually involved into that cult. And when it was coming to the point where he and his wife were headed for a divorce, he got out of it.
He caught it. He snapped.
Back
into the real world.
Yeah, he came back to the realization that this is a cult, and he was getting dragged into it. And they're good people. They're good, God-fearing people. My heart was breaking listening to their story, but be what it may, somebody up there, I just believe, has to have seen something, and there's not a minute, an hour, a day goes by that we're waiting for that call from the police up there, from the individuals, just all we want right now is tell us where JJ is.
How easy that could be over.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in fact, all Lori have to do is just text us and say, hey, here's the phone number where they're at. Come pick him up.
FaceTime.
Yeah, come pick him up.
It could be over.
Right.
All this could be over in a minute.
It'd be over tomorrow. We'd be on a plane heading that way, wherever that way is.
But that's why she's had too many different. Well, I can't talk about that. There's too much to this for we don't believe her.
No, shit.
Period.
Yeah.
And we are scared. We're scared to death of because we've seen what she is capable of, and whether or not she's doing it by her own hand, that doesn't matter. But when you're with someone that is pulling the trigger, you're just as guilty.
Yeah, it's just it's so, this whole thing is so bizarre. I mean, me and Larry were talking about the other day about how, you know, you really couldn't sit there and if you wrote something like this, you'd get fired, right? It's just kind of.
Oh, I don't know. You know, it'd be a sick person to sound like this.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. It's really amazing.
I'll tell you where it's going to get nasty. The day this goes to court, this will probably make Casey Anthony's deal look like a little. Mary had a little lamb.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Like I've been telling everybody, there was one case, this case called the Rachel Del Tondo case that had all these stuff going around and it was really complex. But this one here just kind of just blows that one away. It's just so much stuff going on.
Absolutely.
What did you think of the timing?
And it makes us sick.
Yeah, well,
it does.
I can imagine. What did you think of the timing of Tammy being exhumed and then one day later, Alex is taken out, basically?
That is, if he died naturally, well, by gosh, then that karma train smacked him.
Right square in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that he had foam coming. I heard he had foam coming out of his mouth, and he was going to the bathroom all over the place. So I don't know. It sounds like he was poisoned. If you go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Wow.
So that's something
we
maybe.
haven't listened to your other podcast,
Yeah.
so we're going to go back. We're going to listen to them when we have an opportunity.
Well, I hope you don't you're not disappointed. But anyways, it says that what I was told is that he had foam coming out of his mouth and he died in 10 minutes and he was going to the bathroom all over the place and then he died. So to me it sounds like that's poison. So here's how I would picture that. I would think that after Alex was used to take out all these people and attempt on Brandon, then Chad, maybe even using the same chemical he used on Tammy, perhaps, they have Alex, they're over at Alex's house or whatever, and then they put something in a drink and then he ends up dying. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out a...
All right.
I think Alex made himself expendable.
Yeah, he did, because as soon as you get rid of Alex, you've got this, your cult, and there's nobody...
I absolutely agree with that.
Okay.
I think that...
I couldn't hear what he was saying.
Okay.
What did you say, Gray?
Well, what I was saying was that after they took out Alex, they were sort of free in the clear at that point, right? Because Alex is the only loose link that had a connection to how all the other people died. You see? So as soon as you take him out, you've just got your cult and you're moving forward. They just didn't realize how stupid they were with the timing of everything, and it's so obvious, you know.
Well, there's other avenues that are being investigated that they're really not good criminals, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Well, they're idiots, right? I mean, like, who gets married
Exactly.
2 weeks after your wife dies mysteriously? Oh wow!
Right.
I just met the love of my life 2 weeks later, randomly in a place, and oh, by the way, her husband died just recently too. It doesn't make any sense. Okay.
You know, and I mean, and you know, like you said, Lori and Alex were there that day for when they murdered Charles. But who's to say that Chad Daybell wasn't in the midst of all that? That they're all three thick as thieves. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the man. Never met him. Don't care to meet him.
Not now.
And
They
But-
sure
I would like
they-
meeting in a closed room for 5 minutes.
yeah, that's what we always suggest on our show. It sucks when you've got these horrible criminals and then they get let off somewhere. I always think, well, why don't you let them in a room for a few minutes with maybe a baseball bat and you guys look the other way, okay? You know.
yeah.
That's all I will ask the judge. Just give me 5 minutes. And if they don't want to give me 5 minutes, give me 1 minute.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any more here. Well, maybe we can, talk again at some point if there's some updates or anything like that. If you're interested. I mean, did you guys have a good time, or at least not a good time, but I mean, how do you have a good time in a situation like this? But I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
hopefully
we have
it was
to make
easy.
the best out of the cards that are dealt right now.
Well, and honestly, talking about this, it really has helped us. And because we felt pretty helpless there for a while. Not pretty helpless. We felt
very
extremely helpless.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being able to get this out in the media and get it passed around, and people calling us daily and wanting interviews, and I never thought the mere fact that when we went to bed, let's see, yesterday was Christmas Eve, day before Christmas Eve, I said, no more interviews. I told Larry, no more interviews until Thursday, until after Christmas. And I looked at him and I said, I cannot believe I just said that. I can't believe I just said that. I've never been on TV before. I've never spoken like I am now.
You guys do. You guys do really well. I wouldn't have known that you. I mean, most people haven't been in the media, speaking or anything like that. But you guys are really clear and interesting the way you explain things. So I think you.
Yeah, Larry's a much better storyteller than me, but he stays on a straight line. I tend to go off, and then I forget where I'm at. But anyway.
Yeah.
Just stressed, we're stressed, and he's just better at that kind of stuff than I am. But anyway,
Well, I think just the more
we muddle through
people.
it together.
Yeah, I mean, the more people that know about this, the more you can get it out there with the different. If we can get the faces of people out there, because they're out there somewhere moving around. Unless they're in the middle of the woods on like a commune. That's one of the things I picture. Is they're sort of out in the middle of the wilderness at this little place that, that they have set up for themselves. I don't know. That's the part. But the more that know about it, and it's definitely being picked up a heck of a lot more and more and more, the more that know about it, the better chance of somebody recognizing somebody or coming forward with information saying, oh, wait, because they have to get food somehow. They need to communicate with other people. And it just takes the right person to come forward, and then boom, everything starts crumbling down, and you can solve it.
I remember reading some things that about the cult's teachings, or whatever you want to call it, and they were going to have tents in the desert for the end, July 22nd, 2020, I believe, is the last day before Jesus is coming, and okay,
Right.
so that's going to happen then. But also, then I heard that in Missouri, Independence, Missouri. I honestly haven't looked online. I haven't looked at a map to see if that's even really a place. but that's somewhere that they were looking at as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
To set up and start the world over again, I guess.
Oh, I see. You know, it's funny, whenever there's a date like that, like, hey, July 22nd, 2020, and then all of a sudden July 23rd comes around 2022, and then they go, then they go, I meant to say 37, you know. It's like,
yeah,
it always keeps getting moved down farther, further and further, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's crazy.
You know, somebody had called us recently, and we just haven't had time to look into it. A lady named Julie Rowe. I guess it's Rowe. I'm not sure.
Do you know anything about her?
Have you heard her name?
I think I did hear that. Isn't she part of the podcast or something? It sounds mildly familiar. I don't know. Maybe I can look that up though.
For some reason, I don't know how knowledgeable who told us this was, but we heard that she really started all this, and then that Chad Daybell kind of took the reins now, and that it's about money, which is mostly what cults are. I mean, they're all about money, and those at the top are the ones with all of it. Now,
and she's in
Kansas.
Kansas, yeah.
That's what we heard. She's in Kansas.
I want you to look up and try to find her and find out what you can find out.
Okay.
And some of the listeners might know this.
How do you spell the name? Let me write it down.
Julie, 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 and Rowe, Rowe, I guess.
Oh, just
that's
Rowe?
That's the way I know how to spell it.
Okay.
It's Rowe. That's how they pronounce it.
Like row a boat, but with an E on the end.
Okay, yeah, I got that. All right. Yeah, Julie, it's pretty simple. Wasn't sure exactly what you were saying at the end there.
You know nothing about her, only that she was actually the person that started the cult.
And I mean, that's what we were told.
That's what we were told.
And is that
we just haven't
this cult?
Had time to investigate.
Preparing a people. Is that actually a cult? Because you go to their website and it sounds like they're sort of like a videography company. So I don't know.
What is the meaning of a cult? What's the parameters? What's the guidelines for being a cult?
Yeah, that's sort of interesting. You know what I always think? You just kind of know it when you see it. You know.
Well, this is.
I'm sure there's a definition.
Anything I've ever heard about a cult, this seems like it fits right on in there.
Right.
And we started calling this cult stuff back when we
just called it.
When Charles told me about it, and Larry and I were talking about it, and Charles told us more and more about it, and that was a big. I don't know if it was the fundamental break in their relationship, but Charles did not go down this path with her, and Lori is. I don't understand her the dynamics of her family, but it just seems like that everybody just whatever Lori says, they do it. No questions asked. They just follow behind her. And I don't know. My family wouldn't do that for me, but the thing is, right from wrong. If your sister or brother is doing something wrong, right. Does that really mean you're going to do it too? No. If you're just following her without thinking, then I guess that's what you do. I don't know. It's I don't know.
I don't even think I would. I would want to be like that. I mean, you'd want somebody to check you every once in a while, right? Just
right.
Everything you say, let's do it,
It's wandering down a road aimlessly.
Yeah. It's weird when you look at them, they look so normal. You look at the picture of Lori and you look at Chad. It just shows you that, it doesn't matter. I mean, a lot of times you look at a criminal and you can just say, oh, God, yeah, that's a criminal,
right?
Or that's an evil person. But when you look at them, they just seem normal. That's more scary, actually.
Black Widow, Widow, right there.
Well, that's what my friend said. But they didn't. she didn't kill the first two, but there was no reason to, right? There was nothing to gain from it.
Right.
Well,
think about it. First two are alive, last two are dead, and he's number 5. Which way do you think that's going to end?
Next.
I'm definitely going to put in quotes below his name next. Okay, on my on my chart. You guys have seen the chart. Have you seen the chart that I made?
Oh, you did. You sent it, and I haven't.
Send it to.
I haven't really had time to look at it. We were busy this afternoon, so I didn't get to it.
Oh, that's no problem. Just whenever. And I just let you know I have yellow crosses, like X'd out on Joshua or JJ and Tylee and Brandon because we don't know anything. Brandon was just an attempt, and we don't know what's going on with JJ, but all the rest have red X's on them for the people that are dead, actually.
Let's see. You sent that on Messenger. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you send it on Messenger?
I think so.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to look at this, but yes. And I appreciate you doing that because Larry and I talked about doing it like on the wall and I said, we'll do it like the cops do on TV. Put their pictures up there and then have strings going to each,
Yeah, no, that's what we do.
Well, this is getting to the point that it has to be designed as the business layout. You can't just keep remembering all the details because the details continue to evolve and more details keep coming in.
Yeah, and that's actually what we have done. Like in this case, and then again that one I mentioned earlier, Rachel Del Tondo. There's so many people involved that we decided to, you put all the pictures and you start drawing lines, and then at least when you're conversing, you can just look at it and quickly remember, oh yeah, it makes it a lot easier to have a conversation about it instead of trying to remember all the different people's names. So I have this up and I keep adding to it. Some people I'm like, I know who you are, so I don't need to put you on there. I'm really just putting the people. I
don't want to be on that one. I don't want to be on it.
Well, yeah. I don't really. Yeah, I just want people that are involved in the cult and directly related to JJ, Tylee, Alex, Brandon, Joseph, Charles, Stacy. Well, Stacy's kind of an outlier, and then Tammy. Okay, those people right there. Anybody that's directly related and possibly associated with them being missing or killed, any of these people, I'm putting them on there because there's Alex definitely has this weird nexus where he's kind of he's related directly to 3 people on there: Brandon, Stacy, and Charles. See, he did kill Charles. He likely is the one who shot at Brandon, and he definitely was the only person at the house and then used the credit cards of Stacy back in 1998. So that's the only reason she's on there, because it's weird, so. Right,
and Joseph Ryan, definitely. I mean, he already had it in for him whenever he assaulted him in 2008, I think it was.
That's right, at a courthouse, right? Or was that the?
I believe so. It was. Yeah. I believe so. He tased him, I believe, is what it was.
Oh, jeez, man. Yeah, that's what I heard. I got to write that down too. So that's right. That's where the connection. That's why I have a line, and that shows that he had a previous sort of assault attempt on Joseph. That's why I have that line, because now Joseph's dead, Charles is dead, and he tried to kill Brandon. See, there you go. Maybe. I mean, we don't know for sure.
Okay, think about this. Alex was an over-the-road trucker. He would be gone a week at a time.
Oh, boy.
The last I knew. Yeah. So think about that.
How many other bodies are out there?
How many that they don't even know?
That's what we were just talking about. What was he doing between 1998 and 2018? He had 20 years to... Yeah, and that's funny that you guys mentioned that, because we actually, on the show, we talk about how truckers... It's the perfect job for serial killers, and they actually, you see it all the time. And now you're mentioning that Alex was he literally a semi-truck driver long haul?
That's what he was.
Yes.
Oh boy.
He was an over-the-road driver.
Maybe I want to check to see what his routes were.
Well, he drove, over the road. I don't know that he had a set route. I don't really know that much, but he did do that, and he had done it for a while, as far as I know. Now, the day of Charles's murder, he did not go back to work, and that was the last day of his work was I think the day of July 10th. It may have been. Yeah, it must have been July 10th was his last day of work. So he never went back to work.
Yeah. But he was like a long haul trucker though, right? So he might not have a set route, but he might drive 1,000, 2,000 miles, that kind of thing.
Right. However far you can go in a week, I don't know.
He was driving. He was starving to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, this has been actually really very interesting, and I appreciate you guys coming on. But maybe, I don't know, would you guys be interested in doing it down the road a little bit again, maybe? Or
Sure. I really want to set some time, and so Larry and I can listen to your podcast that you sent. And I'm really looking forward to listening to that. I really want to hear. Okay, so right now, people can hear us talking?
Yep, they're chatting away. They all love you guys and think you're awesome. I'm reading them. There's comments going.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you guys did good.
I've never done podcast stuff. I've heard of them. I just never paid attention to them because I never needed to.
Yeah, well, this is a live. People call. I actually work on a podcast separately from this, but this is just a live YouTube show. Right? Like it's literally like a show where there's people in a chat typing in as we're talking, and there's over 300 people watching right now.
Okay.
Well, one thing I do want to say, I generally say what I say, and probably most of the time it is unfiltered, and I've really been trying to filter it.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, I'm exactly the same as you. I'm 100% the same. You can ask everybody watching, and I'm having a hard time filtering.
Well, I'm the person that always stays in control until I'm not in control.
Yeah.
This has pushed me to that limit.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has.
I can imagine.
This is pushing the envelope.
I think I've seen, there's video out there with JJ singing like karaoke or something, and then is that you that's with, I don't know, I just barely saw it. Was that you that was singing with him or had the mic?
Explain it to him, Larry. Explain it to him.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, JJ, obviously, is my heart. And I've been in business 45 years. I have 16 grandkids and 8 great-grandkids. And the situation, we got JJ, obviously I was mature, and I just fell in love with that boy. And so anything that I owned, whether it's a motorcycle or a truck or a tractor or buses or vans or cars, whatever it was, I'd take my grandchildren and ride them. And so when JJ flew into Houston, I told Kay, I said, come on, let's grab a bus. And when I say a bus, I'm talking about an over-the-road bus, just like Greyhound. And so we went to, I went to Houston and picked him up, and that was the fun of his life, because he could run up and down the bus, and once he was inside, go sit in the seats all the way to the back or in the front, wherever, And so he loved the microphone because he could get on it and he could sing and just make things up. And
he could be a total free spirit. And so that night when I picked him up, he was carrying on just like you saw him on the video. Well, I was getting on, and I heard him, and I reached over and picked up the mic from him, and I sang my little song for him. What nobody pays attention to is his reflection in the mirror, on the glass beside the seats. And when I picked up the microphone and started singing, he was just jumping up and down and laughing and I mean, unless you knew JJ, that's when you appreciate it, because that's the true him. He gets so excited, and I'm sorry, I just get emotional when I see that, when I talk about it. And I just sang a little verse of that song, turn out the light, the party's over, never knowing and never thinking, never in any way in God's creation did I assume that the reality of that song would come forward. And I look at that not to look at myself, but to look at JJ and his reflection when y'all can't see him in the glass, how excited he was for that, and that just makes my heart. It means so much to me personally.
Yeah, I could tell it was a fun moment for everybody.
Yeah.
So, well, do you guys have anything else you don't want to say? And then maybe we'll do this again sometime in the future here. See if we can get information updated. Well,
first of all, we really appreciate your effort. Please ask your audience that if they know something, please say something. If you know something, call the sheriff's department, call city police, just call an authority and everybody. If you say a prayer, please say a prayer for that little boy and his sister. And I thank you so much for your time.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you guys coming on, and I think everybody watching will put out a prayer for their safe return. Okay? And
thank you.
I really appreciate you coming on, and we will talk to you another time. All right? Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow. That was pretty amazing there, everybody. I thought it was just mind-boggling. I mean, some of the stuff that's associated with this case. And thank you guys all for watching. I'm thinking of sort of like ending the show and coming back a little bit later. Maybe like I don't know, 9:30 or an hour. I just kind of need to decompress for a little bit. Yeah, I'm just reading some comments now. Yeah, I mean they're awesome. They're such good people too, That's the thing. So I'm really hoping that there'll be good news. Turn out the lights, the party's over. I hope it'll come back as, I'm back, or some song like that. I was going to say Shady's back, but that doesn't sound right. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Thank you all for coming on. And I might come back on later and then we can discuss it. It'll give you guys a chance to listen to it again if you didn't get to hear it. But thank you. I got a new member, Top Cop. And then Super Chat from Shelly Ann and Nadia. So thank you guys very much. And I think that'll be it. All right, I'm going to come back on maybe at 9:30, something like that. If anybody's still up, you guys can chime in, but go back and listen to it again. Maybe even 9:45. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up. And as I always say, until next. Oh, and by the way, put out a prayer for JJ and the return of Ty Lee. If nothing else, just to make Larry and Kay happy. You can hear how sad they are. I mean, that would just be amazing if they could get JJ back. All right, everybody. So that's it.